Now, I will would like to share my screen with you. I would like to share my screen with you. Just a moment. Okay. Can you all please confirm if you can see my screen, please? Hello?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. Thank you. As I said, I am Tommy. I represent the interest of choice genetics in English-speaking Africa, and yeah, and yeah, my co-host Chris Mulungwa will be talking about nutrition, and he will be sharing the data and how it has been so far with the importation that have been done so far, and how things have improved in the past year with either semen or animals that have been imported. All right. So I would like to make a brief presentation of choice genetics, what we do, and how we what we serve to, so that you can have improved piggery production. I'm going to start with a small video. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, choice genetics is a part of. Can we mute? Just a moment. Can you mute all ourselves, please? The noise is terrible. Okay. Choice Genetics is a part of Group Grimaud, a French family group created in 1966 and controlled by the Grimaud families together with financial partners. Grimaud Group core business, Grimaud Group's core business is animal genetics selection. It's a global multi-species breeding company with genetic selection of waterfowls, layers, guinea fowls, rabbits, shrimps, and pigs since 2008. Some key data are that Grimaud Ferret has 40% of the world market with pigeons, with guinea fowls, and ducks. Novogen has 10% of the world market. Choice Genetics, supplies genetics for 1 million sows in the world. Group Grimaud also has an activity in biopharmacy with Valneva, a listed biotech company developing and commercializing vaccines for infectious diseases with major unmet needs, but also Flavia for the production of animal vaccines and High Farm for the production of serum and proteins for SPF, specifically disease-free rabbits for the pharma industry. Novel farming is a new sector for Group Grimaud, which opens new horizons to the animals, to the animal production sector. Vital meat with the cellular agriculture, the objective is to have in vitro proteins that complement conventional animal production. Fly genetics with precision farming, the objective is to have better performance and sustainability through predictive big data. History of Group Grimaud for information. Okay, it's in 1960, the Grimaud brothers started a dog breeding company. In 1984, they launched the rabbit breeding activity. In 1989, they launched pigeon breeding. In the 90s, the beginning of the internationalization of the duck consolidation. In 1997, acquisition of the colored chicken and layer gene pool. So we can understand that it's a pure, a clear genetic company. Okay, all we do is genetics. Yeah. Now, to our topic proper, the influence of genetics on the cost of production in times of high feed cost. All right, so we're going to start with the maternal genetic potential. All right, we're going to start with the maternal genetic potential, which equals performance and efficiency. Basically, our lines, our maternal lines, are based on the M3 large white and the M6 Lantras. Okay, this is the basis of our maternal line. And the approach here is to have a full value pig, a pig that will have the best feed conversion ratio, will have growth coupled with muscle depth and back fat. All right, notwithstanding they will have very high meat quality and robustness plus resilience. As I said, the basis of our maternal line is the grandparent with very high genetic potential. We're talking about the M3 large white and the M6 landrace. Each of these lines are being improved weekly, daily, if you want, in many ways, but they have specific characteristics, all right, on which we continue to improve. For example, the M3 large white has docility as one of the best characteristics that she has, ease of management, and being a maternal line. She has very, very good maternal instincts. On the other hand, the M6, the landrace, has very high milk production quality and quantity. On revealed reproduction traits, very high polyefficacy, and a stable gilt, a stable line. So it brings stability into the system, into the progeny. So comparatively, these are the two basic lines, the M3 large white and the M6 landrace. So these are some figures that are prevalent until 2021. All right, and you can imagine they are improving continuously. So they have a 2.5 average parity, 92 and 93 fertility rate. All right, total born between 16.6 and 16.9. Okay, these are the characteristics of the grandparent stock. All right, so that what do we intend to gain? So that at the end of the day, we want to combine these two sows, these two lines, so that the product of these two lines will give us, will be able to be a good biology, we'll be able to wean our piglets, all right? Which means she will have good number of teats. She will have milk production and winning, milk production that will win heavier wheat liters, very high colostrum production, so that at the end of the day we'll have uniformity of the liter, average birth weight that is higher, okay, and then piglets that are born then lower, and the numbers of piglets born alive to be on the increase part. How do we have all this? Because of the selection criteria. All the basic lines, I mean, the M3 large white and the M6 landrace are basically selected for back fat, muzzle depth, weight, birth weight, feeding behavior, feed efficiency, all right, and also for reproduction criteria, all right, like born number of piglets born alive, homogeneous piglets, all right, less stillborn, more teeth, okay, and milk production, all right. A combination of these two is what the production criteria and reproduction criteria is what we use in choosing our lines. So at the end of the day, these maternal lines are crossed together to give you the commercial parent stock, which is the CG36. The CG36 is the gilt that will be crossed with a terminal boar to give us the meat product. I mean, the fattening pig. Now, about the CG36, as it's always said that it's always said that the children are always better than their parents, right? So the CG36 is the combination of progeny. It takes from the mother, which is which might be the M3 or the M6, and the father, which might be the M3 or the M6, crossed together to have the CG36. So at the end of the day, we have a stronger version of their parents with the characteristic of both parents coming into one. Now, the CG36 has her own characteristics, all right? She's weaning 80 piglets per lifetime on the minimum. She has on the average 16 teats and very, very low mortality. Okay, these are the basic characteristics of this product of, I remind you, the M3 Landras, M3 large white and the M6 large white. So that she has the power of maternal instinct. The CG36 is unique for its maternal abilities. Piglets are born to be alive and weaned by their biological mother. Thanks to the high number of functional teats, the CG36 has the best weaning capacity in the market. The CG36 is very robust with high quality legs and very low sow mortality. Producers and farm staff enjoy working with the CG36. She is easy to manage. Swift farrowing with very little human intervention because we are caring for animals. CG36 allows for excellent animal welfare conditions. Her behavior is very, very docile. All right. So these are the basic characteristics of the CG36, a product of progeny of the previous two. I mean, the M3 large white and the M6 landrace. These are more slides. All right, that all farming staff are very, very happy with this sow line because it is very, very easy to manage and it makes their life easier. All right. Now, I have chosen to show field performances in Latin America, especially in Latin. I will not show European data now to in this presentation, because Latin America has temperatures and very similar to that in Africa, so that we can now see to whom to compare and how they are doing there to see that these are possible numbers in Africa as well. So in Latin America, you find that the total born in the best farms are around 15 sows. Total, the live born. So the total born is around 16.8. All right, pre-weaning mortality is around 7%. So 14 piglets are weaned out of the 15.3 on the average. All right, at 6 kilo average weight. So which means they work on a 3-week system. So which means they win in 21 days. All right, average of 21, 22 days. Yeah, you see later here. And they are doing 36 piglets weaned per year. So why are we talking about this? In the beginning of at the beginning of this set of slides, we spoke about maternal line being having the genetic potential, and effectively this genetic potential bringing us the efficiency. All right, when you are producing 36 piglets per year per sow, all right, you are striving towards efficiency. Okay, so a part of it. All right, it's part of it. So in total, we are making 34 piglets weaned per sow per year, and then you have sow mortality very low, less than 5%. In the best farms, around 6.7% in total farms. So the more the sows will stay in your farm, the more piglets they give you, the more you get the return on investment. All right. So this is part of the efficiency that we are talking about. Of course, our technical service team will always provide you key points for maximizing your genetic potential. You just have to get in touch with us. Now, the CG36 has very high numbers of quality piglets weaned, especially in Latin America, as I've stressed. And these are the numbers from 2001 from 2020 and 2021. There has been tremendous increases. All right, from total bone has gone up to 0.6, 0.6 live bone, and average piglets weaned has gone up by 0.5. Okay, this is very good numbers, and they are possible. These are same farms that were sampled in 2020 and in 2021. All right, a total of around 14,900 liters in the first in 2020 and 15,000 liters in 2021. So as I said earlier, there has been an increase of 0.5, sorry, piglets with around 5.6 kilos winning weight at around average of 23.1 days. It's possible. So 80 kilo liter weight is an excellent winning capacity. All right, when you're winning 80 kilos liter weight. And of course, in San Bernardo was elected the best farm in from Paraguay in Latin America, and they are using choice genetics. And he made 34.73 weaned piglets per sow per year, and he's managing 3,076 sows. 3,076 sows. So make your calculations. And mind you, LATMA includes countries like Brazil, countries like Argentina, Colombia, and another 136 countries. Okay, we are talking of this guy won between is the best between a million point 87 sows. So we can imagine the competition. Huh? All right, it includes Paraguay, it includes Uruguay, Mexico, Bolivia, and as I said earlier. Now, the CG36 yields, because we are talking of efficiency, we're talking of driving ahead. All right, this is the progress. This is genetic progress. That is why you have to incorporate yourself with a genetic company, all right, to help your and sustain and maintain your production. So these are our figures in 2021. The projection for 2022, we are working for 15 average born alive in 2023, and then we are progressing until 2028, which we want to work on an average of 16.7 piglets. These are projections, huh? We're working towards them, so that at the end of 2018 we have a potential of between 16.7 and 17.7. So the same thing is when we drive all these numbers, we want to drive the weaned piglets, because this is the most important part. Huh? We have to get them, even though they are born, we have to get them weaned. So we are driving so that the best farms will be winning around 33.3 per year from today's 32. all right, and having a bone alive in 2024 that will be reaching around 37 piglets per sow per year. All right, so at the end of the day, we should be having a potential of 37.2 piglets weaned per producing sow in 2024. Okay, now basics for France. what we expect. These are European numbers, and on the same rice, we're going on the rice also. So it's the same thing practically. So the potential should be around 40 piglets. So that with the high numbers of quality piglets weaned in Latin America, we have from top farms evolution evolving. So total bone should be in 2021 was around 16.8. Average live bone 15.1. Okay, I think this has been doubled. Yes, this is the most important part. So the quality of the piglets at birth. Can you please mute yourself, please?
Don't ora.
Can you mute yourself, please? Okay. So from a total of 4,728 piglets weight at birth, 15.0 were born alive, okay, which means a total of 20.26 kilos per liter at birth. So you can see here that 96% of our piglets are more than a kilo at birth, which is very, very important. And the average birth weight is 1.35 kilos, which is very important. A strong start is always very, very important. Now, I want to show this slide to show the consequences of low birth weight. When you have low birth weight, you have many days, your piglets linger on the farm for many, many days before they are arrived for slaughter. So it means more feed, it means more care, more care, and more barn of occupancy. They occupy the barn, they occupy your pens for much more days, and then of course they have a very high depreciation in the carcass, and definitely very low farm efficiency. This is very, very important. That is why one of our basic criteria, as you must have seen, I showed you earlier, is that we have piglets born at very high weight, birth weight. And of course, when the piglets are born, we have the sows that can, with minimum of 16 functional teeth, that can win the sows, win the piglets. Sorry. All right. So we are always on the rise on teeth selection for teeth. So because when there are teeth, then the sows, the piglets are sure to get food. All right. So over 25,000 gills are selected every year with more than 16 functional teeth. All right. Now, a range of specially selected boars for various markets. At Choice, we have various boars for different markets, different different products. If you want meat, we can give. We have a selection of boars for those ones. For example, the P90. The P90 is one of the bore lines that is specially selected for growth, vigorous piglets. All right, excellent carcass quality. It's been stable since 1972. It's a champion, and it's very, very robust and has very fast growth. Today the feed conversion ratio for the P90 is decreasing, and it's around 2.2. All right, so it can go until 2.2 between 2 point. The majority are giving us between 2 and 2.05. All right, of the bores. So which means the best bores are doing 1.99. All right, so and this is what they will transfer to the piglets, so that you have very fast growth and of course meat quality. So these are some figures that the field results that was done in Poland. You see that the average daily gain can reach as much as 1 kilo per day. The average daily gain can be as much as 1 kilo per day. So 100 days, 101 days until to give you a muzzle depth, a muzzle percentage of around 58%. All right, and a global feed conversion ratio of 2.5 and 2.68 respectively. All right, but of course very low mortality. Yeah, and I have to mention that these farms work on ad libitum and dry feed, and the flowers are produced and on farm with slated floor. Females and the males are castrated. All right, so that you have some data, some statistics about where these animals are come from. So they have excellent feed conversion ratio and average daily gain with very low mortality. So part of the efficiency, yeah. Please, can we mute ourselves, please? Can we mute ourselves? Can we mute ourselves?
Tommy, you can mute all from your side.
Okay, just a moment. I have to get off my. I have to get off the presentation. That's why. But I think we should be able to understand each other, so that. Yeah. So. Oh my God.
Leo, come with your food. Come with your food.
Just a moment. Just a moment. I have to mute everybody. Just a moment. Okay, I'm sorry for that. It's yeah. Again? Who is that again? I don't know how to mute everything. Oh my God. Can we mute ourselves, please? It's very difficult to. I can't do all at the same time.
Please make me a co-host, Tommy.
Yeah, you said?
Make me a co-host.
How do I do that, Chris?
Why make post from?
How do I do that? Because it's very.
Okay. I think we will have to endure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible now.
No. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think we can continue now. Okay. I hope I'm being, yeah, I think I'm being heard. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about the P26 the Duroc line, which is another bore with exceptional growth rate, exceptional efficiency driven, and it has a very good intramuscular fat, okay, which gives it very good taste. So it gives it the best meat taste. In the market, vigorous piglets, fast growth, superior meat quality. All right. And these are some numbers from the US, okay, which means weighting piglets that come in at 23.6 kilos, they leave at 130 kilos, 129.7 kilos. So with an average daily gain of 948 grams per day. All right, with a yield of around 96% and marketed at 97.1. All right, so these are offsprings of the P26 and the CG36. Also, some of you might know this boar, the P81. So some came into Uganda, I think, in early this year. It's a pure line P10 stress negative boar, very high good feed conversion. Also excellent average daily gain for a P10, and yeah, it has very good behavior, very cool. Okay, it produces vigorous piglets also, fit for high density systems because they are very cool-headed animals. And in Brazil, the immunocastration gives 95% of the producers use immunocastration, and after the infection, the males continue to behave like males. Okay, the beast seems to have a late puberty, which has very good behavior gives a very good behavior to this P81. It's a very cool-headed line. Okay, these are data from the selection farm in France. Very high average daily gain for the P81. It can go as high as 1,056 grams for all birds that were done during the testing. All right, more than 1,000 grams per day. So you can imagine. Now, this slide is to address issues of crisscross. For those who are still trying to cross, doing the crisscross system, all right? It's so you know that the genetic identity of your sow is lost. Okay, you have low genetic level of the current when you have a low genetic level of your current sow, okay, you delay the benefit from the full genetic potential of the M3 and the M6, okay, and then you get near a good parent stock after at least some 5 generations. So you can understand the cost involved and the time involved in doing this crisscross genetic, as you call it, program. It sounds cheap, but then it's expensive at the end of the day. We propose that you take full advantage of the progeny so that you cross a full M3 with a full M6 so that you produce once and for all a CG36, a parent stock that will use for your fattening pigs. So you have direct benefit of the genetic potential of the M3 and the M6 killed, and it's easier. It's less tedious when you do the crossing, okay? And there is no risk at all of inbreeding. Now, we're getting there. Choosing the best time to slaughter based on feed cost. I've done a few slides here to show you. The feed conversion ratio starts from the first slide. From the first slide, from 10 weeks until 22 weeks, it increases. At a point in time, it gets as far as 2.9 for almost 3. Okay, the farmer must know when to sell the pigs. All right, as well, like the live weight. Okay, you have at 29 kilos, and then you have 119 kilos, which is around 20 kilos more or less. You have at 2.98 feed conversion ratio. Now, having seen the previous slide, we want to know when is the best time to slaughter. So we see on the graph, you see the income per animal. Then on this, you also see the extra feed cost, the feed cost, all right? And then the margin per animal. So that at the end of the day, from this slide, I don't know what is your prices in Uganda, because you are the majority are from Uganda. You can see that it pays you more to sell your animals at 110 kilos than to sell at 40 kilos. All right, we will talk about this later on. I just want to show you so that you see, this file is based on the feed conversion ratio, and we can modify the feed price to see when you start to lose based on the meat price. All right, the prevalent market price of the piglet. We might come back here, okay, because it's going to be a discussion. Also, this is more another discussion when the price is bad. Okay, you might recall that in the previous slide, the price was 1.5, euro 50. All right, and this slide, the price is euro 2. So you see here that the best time to sell the pig it at an FCR of 2.6, okay, which is around here. All right, so if you hold the pigs more, you lose. You already see a deficit here. Okay, but we will discuss about this much later. When we get into the question, into the roundtable discussion. This slide is also more or less the same with the previous one. Then here is meat per ton of feed calculation, so that these figures are from different farms. All right, you see different farms have different qualities, different genetics. You see the feed conversion ratio differs, but not very far away from each other. You see the first 3-4 farms have until 220, and then the later farms had until 2.8. All right, so you can see that you can see that the animals in the initial, with the initial 2.14 have better meat produced per ton. They are clocking around 351 units compared to 282 units that is being done by the animals of 2.87. So for us to deduce, for me to put it in explain in a nutshell, you need good genetics, you need performance, okay? You need good bulls that can that can contribute their genetic potential to the already genetically evolved sow, so that you can have fattened pigs of very high genetic potential that will make use of the feed that you are giving your animals. To make use of a feed, it doesn't make sense feeding, even if you feed animals, very bad animals, if you feed them the best feed in this world, they cannot perform. They will not be able to perform. They can only be improved. So it is very, very important. That is the message. It's very, very important that you have good genetics to be able to, that will give you efficiency. It will give you it comes with the genetic potential of the animals, all right, so that you can improve on the already expensive feed. Okay. Now I'm going to close with this video. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope I have been very short, and I've been short enough, and I've not been I've not overstressed you. Chris, over to you. Chris? Chris? Hello, Chris. Just a moment. I don't know. Chris? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really muted
Getting
it.
closer.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Tommy, for the detailed presentation. And
So
thank you.
I think I have to make you host, right? So that you can do your presentation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you become host now. Not the problem because yours.
But I think all is okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying I thank you for the detailed presentation, and I thank all who managed to participate today. It's a very important engagement. We are into a very challenging period of time when pig feeds are somewhat expensive. You can't overlook that. In Uganda, the price of pork also has gone up. A kilogram is almost twice the usual price on retail, but also it has almost doubled for farmers. The farm gate prices. This can be something to celebrate, but also the cost of feeding is very high. So alongside the cost of feeding, we see the challenge with the economy. The economy is also doing bad, and so the spending power of our countrymen is low. So all these are challenges, and we are into a time of making sure that we survive. We don't want to lose the business because there is a future, of course. Times are bad now, but there will be a future. Some time to come, things will definitely get in order. So Tommy has been discussing issues related to genetics. And before you can cut the budget of your farm feeding, you have to think about what consumes that feed. If your animals are not good converters, then the reason as to why you buy these expensive feeds doesn't exist. Because even though you bought the feeds, there are higher chances that you're gonna make a loss because these animals won't be returning your investment. So before you go into buying the expensive feeds that we are buying today, you have to ensure that these feeds are going into collect animals, the right genetics. I'm not going to be talking about very many issues because Tommy handled almost all the technicalities necessary in reducing technicalities necessary in surviving in such a harsh situation. So I'm gonna talk about the traditional factors that we also need to consider, alongside what Tommy has discussed of issues related to feed conversion ratio, the average daily gain, and the importance of genetics towards those. We need to think about other issues, like I'll be talking about, and my presentation will be a little short. So looking at life generally, basing on Uganda, and if I was using the what we call the low protein concentrate, but more or less a premix. For Ugandans, you know, we sell the nuisance 5%, all Vitasol, which are more or less like premixes. They're low protein, so you need soy and sunflower to make a complete diet. You can see that the cost of grower diets is 1,500. For those outside Uganda, this is the exchange. So it is $0.4 and 1,300 shillings, which is $0.35. So this is way too high, because before this situation, we used to get grower at around 1,200 and finisher at around 800, 900 Uganda shillings. But now the costs are shoot high. So if you look at the cost of creep feeding for each piglet, you may spend less than 5,200 if you're not wasting. But majority of our pig producers here waste a lot of food, and this raised the cost of creep feeding to more than even 5,000. It sometimes go to 10,000 or even more. So here we speak about a few issues, because this means that the situation is abnormal. And because the situation is abnormal, then you have to handle in a smart way for you to survive with some margins from your business of farming pigs. The price of pork, like I said, farm gate today is around 12,000 for premium. And if you match this with the cost of production, of course, the margins are still lower. Now, to people who have been keeping poor genetics, I think majority of them have been selected out. They have ceased to exist. They have quit. They quit the business, because the ability of the animals fed to change this feed into meat is very limited. And so in such a way, there is no way you can survive in business. The best way to save money and to save yourself from the stress is to run away. So that's why proper genetics, good genetics is very ideal for all seasons of production. Whether the situation is okay or not okay, you need the proper genetics to survive in the business. So two main factors here. And the first one I'll relate to the animals that we received from Choice Genetics. This is from one of the importers, and this farmer has suffered quite a number of challenges with fertility. This is a guilt, and we may agree that it has been overfed. And overfeeding is one way that may cause you losses, even though you're keeping proper genetics or doing proper nutrition. So when goats are overfed and they're too heavy, too fatty, they delay going to heat, they become complicated to manage. And this is the challenge that he has faced. So in so doing that, these animals stay on farm, consuming feeds, but non-productive. So this is more or less wasting. So it must be very careful. The goal shouldn't be just feeding, but we must feed to make sure our animals stay efficiently productive. I think one time we had a discussion of the reproductive herd feeding with Tommy, and I believe this is another engagement that we need to really take serious. Maybe the next time, Tommy, you come to Uganda, we need to really think about it. Otherwise, it is very challenging, both in windy sows and pubertal gilts. So you can't afford wasting feed that is very expensive, overfeeding, because you have nothing to gain from that in as far as productivity is concerned. Another important factor is wastage. And this is common with the troughs that we use and our management protocols, you know, the way we manage our animals as producers. This is also one of the producers here who is using choice genetics bull semen. These are his market pigs. He never castrated them, but they are shared by the peer-trained boar. The challenge with this farm now is the feed that is wasted. So at the end of the day, the cost of producing one pig, the amount of feed that is needed to produce one market pig is too much. And when you relate this to the price, the cost per kilogram of feed today, you're not making any business. So we need to use proper feed troughs. And this is a must, because the money that you're losing wasting feed would have been your profit. Other factors, such as feeding right, are also very important. If you don't give your pigs the proper feed that they have to feed to take, it costs you productivity. For example, if you're feeding, let's say they finish a diet from weaning to slaughter, it will be very difficult for you to attain the average slaughter weight at the required time. And this means that, again, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose the money that bought the feed and then the time that you've invested in raising these pigs. So if we combine this with what Tommy has been talking about, I think we should be ready for questions. Thank you very much. So if you have a question, I think it will be better for us to be a little bit organized. You raise your hand, then you'll be picked to ask your question. This will help us minimize this disorganization. I don't know what you think, Tony. I don't know whether people are aware of how to use the Zoom app to, okay, good, to put up your hand like Mr. Laban Musinguzi did. So Mr. Laban Musinguzi, please go ahead with your question. Mr. Musinguzi, please unmute.
Yeah,
Good.
I can now unmute. So, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so sorry if you had talked about what I'm going to ask. I had stepped out and then came in again. In your presentation, I did not see like more information on the performance of the animals from choice genetics in Uganda or in the African context in that matter. Tommy had made a presentation giving the numbers like on the number of litter produced and the number that is weaned. So how old are these animals in Uganda, for instance? Are farmers, if they have kept them for a substantial period, are they getting this litter and are they winning the numbers like we saw from the presentation of Tommy? And also about the feed conversion ratios, do we have numbers to demonstrate a stronger performance of these animals compared to maybe the animals that are common on farmers on farms in this area? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musinguzi. I don't know, I think that is directed to me. I may seek some clarification from Tommy on the second question on feed conversion ratio, but on performance, unfortunately, I did not prepare the average daily gains and feed conversion ratio, but we have this information already with the grandparent lines that were imported from Choice early this year. The animals came in this year, I think in March, so they are gestating. I think we are having the first following in January, early January. So we will be capturing, we are capturing the information, and we will use it against the standards that, that Tommy has talked about, and the standard productivity of Choice Genetics lines. So we can't give substantial information now until like February or March next year. But of course, even with the grandparents, the average daily condition is very good, and the feed conversion ratio is just amazing. What we can, I think, say is that the commercial boers, consume very little feed. I think we are going to have great change, because you really need less feed to come up with a kilogram of live weight. So I don't know whether Tommy has some clarifications on the feed conversion ratio question.
Mute. Okay, thank you. I was muted.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Labi, can you repeat your question about the FCR, please, and the average daily gain? Mr. Laban. Mr. Mushinguzi, can you repeat your question again about the average daily gain and the feed conversion ratio?
I wanted just maybe a comment from Chris, from his experience raising the animals, and he gave a hint that the animals are eating little food compared to the animals he had before. So maybe that is adequate for now. Maybe, like he said, we can wait for substantive information early next year.
Yeah. One thing I can assure you is that the feed conversion ratio and the average daily gain, of course, it has to do with the genetic potential of the animal. However, the biological value of the feed is also very important. That's why I always tell people just to, deal with qualified nutritionists, okay? Because the specifications of those animals is accessible to these nutritionists, and they can formulate feed that will, that will meet their standards. All right. So, as Chris has rightly said, the animals that came into Uganda, what you can notice already is the growth factor. All right, which is definitely different to whatever you must have seen so far. Now, we expect, as Chris has said, that maybe by spring we will be having, maybe that's March, April, we'll be having the first of the first farrowings. Then you'll be able to compare to see the growth. I would say growth, not necessarily numbers, but yeah, we should have improved numbers of you. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you can also share, apart from the average daily gain, the characteristic comparatively with what's on ground and things like that. Can you share? Do you have figures that can be shared?
I think we will do this in the engagements we have, the physical engagements next year.
Okay.
Because already we are slaughtering some pigs born by the P81.
Ah, okay.
And we are taking record of what is happening. So we will have very well organized data to work with.
Oh, the semen of
the
P81.
semen, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Semen.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I see already someone in before we go back to the people putting up their soft hands. I see already in the messages someone was complaining about data being used. The data used is from Europe, something like, I wish you can use the statistics from Africa.
No. The data that I used are basically Latin America. And why we use this data is because of the similarity between, because these are tropical countries, they are savanna countries also. So the similarity because of the, between those countries and African countries, all right? And these farms are huge. So they are not, except for a few slides that I tried as much as possible not to use European figures. Okay, most of the majority are Latin American countries. Okay.
Great. Where can we get CG36 in Uganda? Like I said, I'm coming back to you guys who are putting up your hands, the softy hands. Mr. Baguma, we just imported in these animals this year. The first consignment came in this year, and we expect more consignments next year, starting from January. So we will have the first CG36 still sometime next year. So you just have to be patient. They will be available on market very soon. And Tommy, they're asking if you'll be able to share your presentation.
Yeah. If you yeah, please send your email addresses. Then yeah, we share with whoever sends his email address. Huh?
Great. So let's go back to the people who are putting up their hands. We have Mr. Benedict Olale. Please unmute and ask your question.
Mr. Benedict Olale, please ask your question.
Okay, my question is, what is the cost of CG36? What is the cost of importing CG36? Number two, in comparison, if I compare Choice Genetics with, let's say, for example, Hermitage Genetics tells us that their slaughter stock, like let's say, at around 154 days, they consume around 200 and the pig consumes around 260 kg to attain a live weight of 90 kg in 22 weeks. That is 150. That is 154 days. What about Choice Genetics?
Now, talking about the feed, of course, probably it's a commercial. We're talking about a commercial presentation. Yeah. We can talk. I cannot express opinion on something I don't know the content of. I don't know the content of the feed. I don't know the environment. Yes, of course, we have good performances here in Europe, 148 days with the P90. Okay, you're getting 100 kilos, 105 kilos. Yes, depending on the environment and the feed and the health status and every other thing. So you are just telling me a part of the okay, a part of the presentation. All right. So it's all these things, fast growth and performance with whichever company. All right. Yeah. You might have said it. Right. Depends on environment. Depends on the quality, biological value of the feed, the quality of the feed practically. Okay, and the animals, the genetics. Okay, all these three. If they are in good shape and the best choice for boars of a share line, yeah, this performances they're possible, huh? Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, another question. I've asked about the cost of CG36.
The cost.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the cost of CG36. I'm in Kenya. Let's say I'm importing CG36. Leave alone importation cost. The cost of CG36, where you are.
Where I am.
Yes.
Look, the process is we are trying to make sure that we produce the foreign stock locally, which is the best approach, so that it can be easily assessed by all farmers, so that they can take advantage, as we have said, of the progeny that we're talking about. So a local cost, I wouldn't know. I think you should better take contact with Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can discuss this later on. Okay.
Okay. Lastly,
Yeah.
now that the cost of, let's say, for example, the semen from this boas, either P90, P26, ama P81.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it available in Uganda, or because with Uganda to Kenya, that's not for much distance. You can easily get it in Uganda. So that is what I want to know, because with the semen, if you buy semen, you can easily improve the yields that we have here in Kenya. So
yeah. You are going back to the crisscross. Remember I said the crisscross?
Yeah, the crisscross.
Okay, the crisscross is more expensive than, of course, it's a solution, huh?
Yeah,
it's a solution, but it's more expensive at the end of the day compared to getting a live guild, of your own. You understand what I mean? I want it to be clear. Okay. Yeah. I think you should speak with Mr. Chris about that, about the semen. Okay, he will be able to help you, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Take contact with him. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Benedict. Let's now hear from ARBO Pig Farms. Please unmute and ask your question.
Thank you, Chris. My question or concern is on the feeding of the gilts against weight in relation to fertility. As it has been pointed out that if you don't feed properly the gilts, then they'll be overweight and then fertility will be impacted.
Yeah.
And usually it's recommended that the gilts should be served for the first time with a weight of at least 120 kg. But some of them would say that saving should be even at 130 or even 140 kg. And usually we experience that the gilts would reach their third standing heat at around the age of 30 weeks. Now, my concern here or question is on how to balance this issue of weight and fertility, because it's really an issue. Because if you don't balance properly, then you find that you are saving the gilts, but they are not getting pregnant, and also even at farrowing, they do experience difficulties.
Yeah.
How do we strike the balance here? That's my concern or question. Thank you.
Chris,
Yes,
before you do the nutritional part, first of all, what gilt are we talking about? Are we talking about a quality parent stock? Because if it's a quality parent stock, you shouldn't have any problem, okay, feeding it and to attain a weight of 140, 150 kilos. All right, before in 7 months and a half. Okay, there is a special gilt food that Chris will talk about. There is a special gilt grower feed, which is very, very different from any fattening, very different from fattening, fattener feed, okay? Because the fattener feed looks only to improve the meat, all right, to create meat content, all right. The gilt feed has the aim of in improving and developing the genetic, you know, the reproductive system of the gilt. Okay, there are two different things. So Chris will talk more on that so that he will enlighten you.
Yeah, but I think you just said it. Challenge is more on how we use the feeds. If you're not using the correct feed, then that's where the problem comes from. And monitoring weight. You know, you really have to monitor weight. You don't have to just feed, because later we weighed some of these animals, 250 kilograms. I don't know how you get there before realizing that you're really on the wrong path. So you need to monitor the weights of your gilts. But of course, if you know what you're doing, you're giving the right deity, the gilt rearing deity, and the pigs are of the correct age. You know, we have an issue with our traditional genetics, because sometimes even attaining 100 kilograms is a hassle. It's a huge fight. So most of the time, farmers are confused and then end up, you know, overgrowing them, and most of them go unserved. So we need to monitor the weights of our gilts, and we need to ensure that we give the correct feed. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Chris, but still there is a confusion there to distinguish between this what Tommy said, like meat weight and then weight of the genetics.
No, let me make it clear to you. There is what we call, you know, if you have a fattening unit, you will have a creep feed, you have a grower feed, all right? You have a fattener. Usually you have two fattener feeds, fattening 1 and fattening 2. Okay, these kind of feeds are specially formulated to enhance average daily gain, okay, and the muscle formation of muscle by the fattening pigs. Okay, when you feed this kind of, when you give your gilts this kind of feed, they will increase muscle, they will grow fatter, they will grow more meatier. Okay, gilts, we don't want them to be meaty. We don't want them to be meaty. We want them to be, you know, that's why we have a special formulation for them, okay, that is specially designed so that they when they eat this feed, their reproductive organs will develop better as against the fattening. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, having said that, what I said earlier is that Chris will, if you speak with Chris, if you have gilts that are, if you have guilt, you can speak with Chris to formulate for you a guilt diet. All right, that will see to the development of the reproductive organs. We need the uterus, we need the ovaries, and we don't need it to be bulgy. We don't need them to have bulgy stomachs. I don't know if you understand what if I'm understood.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, but then this issue of weight of the gilt, because also sometimes someone would say that which one would be preferred? Is it weight of the gilt or age of the gilt? But mostly they would say
We take both.
weight.
We take both into we take both into consideration. Now,
Yeah,
one thing I didn't say earlier is is that usually your gilts, they are fed ad libitum until 100 kilos. Okay, with a special gilt diet. If they eat ad libitum, they will grow faster, not as fast as the fattening pig, but they will go also faster also. But after 100 kilos, you now limit their feed to around 2 kilos or 2.2 kilos per day until they reach reproduction fertility. Sorry, they are mature in terms of reproduction. Okay, so if you have the correct genetics, okay, and you follow this recommendation, you will have around a minimum of 135 kilo pig gilt, let's say, okay, gilt at 240 days. Am I being understood?
Okay, I got you very well. Thank you, Tommy.
All right, so it's the combination of both. You cannot, because a gilt grows faster and she's 6 months or she's 180 days old, doesn't mean we have to inseminate her. It's like having a child with a 16-year-old girl, which might have maybe she has the body factor and she's fatter. Doesn't mean that she's right. She's mature enough in terms of reproduction, because those gilts that are inseminated prematurely will not go more than 3 parities. They usually either they grow after the second cycle, they grow. You start seeing the bone on their back, and then at the end of the day, probably at the fourth parity, they are raised and ready to go, to be called. All right.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you so much. Any other questions, please? Chris?
Yeah, I don't see more. Okay, there, Mr. Musinguzi has another question. There is case here. Okay, there are more questions there. Let's start with let's start with the case because he's asking for the first time, then we'll go to Mr. Musinguzi. Case, please. Okay.
Good evening to you all. Now, my question is about the feeding and considering the prices. I think putting the prices aside, we would request you help us with the calculation of the amount of feed that is required at every stage at different stages, creep feed, then the grower, then the finisher. The quantity is required to attain the 110 kgs.
Yeah, I think we'll need to do a follow-up training. I don't know how your time stands, Tommy. Maybe early January or end of this month.
Yeah, now come for the hour.
You said?
I think we'll need to do a follow-up engagement on nutrition.
Okay.
Yes. Because it's a lengthy discussion that we can't go into right now, of what you need and how much you need to raise what will be profitable in the market.
Okay, let's see that now. And Tomorrow morning,
So case we will do that.
bring the container of
Be informed. Okay, so Mr. Musinguzi, you ran away. Okay, let's hear from my friend Joseph Wanyonyi. Please unmute and ask your question.
So good evening. This is Joseph. I have some pigs in Kenya, in Kitale, and also we have some pigs in Kalaki in Otoboi. That's in Uganda as well. So my question is, I know we've been talking about genetics, and as well we've been talking about feeds, and I've been looking through for some time now, and I realized when you look at the pricing of pork in Europe or these other countries, you realize that the pricing is very low per kg.
Yeah.
So I was asking myself a question. Maybe Chris can be able to answer. Have you ever tried to ask or to get the feeds that they do there instead of getting concentrates in Kenya or in Uganda because of the costs of raw materials, which are not always, up to standard?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of adulteration. Is it possible to find out if we can be able to import even the finished, feeds so that we just feed?
No. Joseph.
Yes.
Listen, this is the challenge. Okay, the average European farmer is selling up the pigs much more lower than you are selling. The pig prices in Europe is far lower than the price most African countries have. But the European farmers are compensating with efficiency. The gain is basic. They gain more when they become efficient. When we talk about a farm that is producing weaning minimum of 33 piglets per sow per year. So it means that they are feeding the same feed they give to the sow that produces 24 piglets, the same feed. If they improve it, of course, it's a constant. I consider the genetic factor a constant one. All right. So the same feed they use in producing 24 piglets is the one they use in producing 30 piglets. So 6 more piglets per sow per year multiplied by 500 sow units. So we just do the mathematics. I think who asked that question? I think it was Mr. Joseph. Do you understand? Now, bringing in feed, it's so expensive. Shipping is so expensive. But then I can assure you that there are very, very good raw materials in Africa. Very, very good raw materials. The only thing we have to do is just do a little bit of research and try to incorporate them and use these raw materials. And you know what? Let it be done by nutritionists. Not every Dick and Harry trying, seeing something on the street and then they try to hard it up and, they try to, that is what is happening. So we have to leave this job to nutritionists, all right? So that this sector is can improve. All right. I don't know, Chris, if you want to.
Yeah. Of course, I think most governments in East Africa are making importation of finished feeds very expensive.
Yeah.
Recently, they tax it excessively. And recently they are attacking concentrates too. So we have what it takes to make a quality feed, but I think we haven't invested the right skills into coming up with the collected diets. But we need to think more, to work on it more. We have all it takes. Yeah. So importation will automatically drive you into losses. It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's too expensive. It doesn't. It doesn't. It
And,
doesn't
and
make
the
sense.
feed will be taxed.
Yeah.
So we on a black with concentrates and premixes. There is no tax. But if you imported a finished feed, there is tax. In Uganda, it is 28%.
It's not. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Just forget about it. Feed. No, we can't do that.
Okay, I don't know whether Mr. Benedict Olale is putting up his hand again. Otherwise, seems like there are no new questions.
Mr. Benedict. Hello?
Yeah, maybe he just left his soft
Yeah.
hand up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In the absence.
Joseph, you have a follow-up comment?
Yes, I just want to, yes, I agree. And because of taxes, that's where we hang up. But if there were no taxes, much taxes, then we could have taken that opportunity to do that. The next is, I've been struggling personally, probably it's not about genetics, but it's about, and it's not about probably feed, but it's about farm planning, where I'm having challenges of, I have animals on the farm and I realize, oh, I cannot be able to plan very well, or maybe because I have some lack of knowledge on that, I have animals which are farrowing at the same period. You know, like today, because I didn't plan properly. There are 3 sows that came on heat. Okay. And we win last week on Sunday. We win Sunday. 2 of them win Sunday. And there was already a dry one that had, jumped. So I don't stay at home. I stay away from the farm. So sometimes it's very hard to follow up. But today my farm hand calls me and tells me, Joseph, I have 2 sows that we had win last week on Sunday and they're on heat. And the 3rd one, which is on a heat, and I only have 1 boar. Is it allowed? Because so I told him, now what you can do, just give the one that had jumped, the circle, it had not had not been served well. Then give it in the morning. Then the evening you can give one of the sow, which is coming on heat after the 5 days. Then leave one. Don't give it. Let's count 21 days to come, or 18 days. I don't know if that is advisable, or how do you do it? Because in this case, I don't have access to semen where I can inseminate the other 2 or one at a time.
Okay. If you have 1 boar, can you? Yeah. Okay. You mean natural mating, right?
Yes,
Natural
please.
mating. Yeah. You can mate one in the morning and mate in the evening. It's possible. You can. You don't have to mate them at the same time.
So I can mate one in the morning, one sow.
Yeah.
Then in the evening I mate another sow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one in
Then
the
the
evening,
following
of course, the one in the evening will have less, but then the idea is just to
So and then the next morning I can give the one that was in the evening.
Exactly.
So that now the other one which got in the morning can go to another evening.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you have to manage your resources.
I think Tommy's suggestion is to help you, solve the problem at hand. But you need to really do proper planning. You need to batch your sows.
Yeah. It was introduction to batch farming. You have to batch you have to batch out, because don't mind me, I'm just joking. It's best, and you can better manage your boars, or else they get tired. those poor
Yeah,
things.
sure.
So especially, and you said you're in Kenya, right?
Yes.
And the availability of both stores is probably minimal. So what I will do is I will batch. How many sows do you have?
Now I have so I have 6 sows and 2 gills which are about to
Okay.
as
All
well.
right. You
So
can
the
batch
idea
those
is-
ones. You can batch each one every 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You batch
Mhm.
one every 3 weeks so that every 3 weeks you have products. Does this make
Okay.
sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Every 3 weeks, batch one. Speak with Chris how to do it.
How to do it, yeah. We,
Okay.
we can talk. I know Joseph for a long time. Well, quit.
Okay, you know, okay. So look, but you call it batch faraway, okay?
Yes.
And when you batch them out, it's easier for you. It's easier to to get clients. It's and your
Consistency.
and consist exactly. And
Mhm.
your workload will be less.
Yes.
It's divided over time, and you
Mhm.
don't have problems. And especially these 3 weeks, I told you, if there is a return, it falls on the next one
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it's 21 days.
Yes.
You understand? So
Sure.
at the time you have two sows in case one returns. But then the poor, we make sure she doesn't return unless there was an issue, with him, because he has only one for 1 week. So he will tire. She will be tired, sir. I'm sure she'll be tired. So that's the
So-
way to go about it. So you can increase with one bowl. You can go until in this manner. You can go until around maybe 20 subs.
Okay. Now, last one. That's how I met people to tire. Do you have any Excel program that someone can use to be able to keep the farm record? Because I've tried to do mine, but it's not giving me the feedback that I need so well.
I will send you a link. I will send a link here.
Okay.
It's about a very nice program developed by some guy. I think he was wait, let me remember. Just a moment. I'll try to yeah, it's you see it here. I sent it to. It's on the chat.
Just sent to everyone.
It's on the chat.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a very good program. It's an app. Download it on your phone, and I think it's good enough.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you, Tommy. This second time I'm meeting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I hope I've been able to help.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Appreciate.
Mr. Benedict is still with his hands up, but I think, as you said, Chris, he just kept it up.
Yeah, there is someone who wrote something.
Out of production. How is the production of meat? Okay, I think right now I will have to disconnect. Just a moment. Let's stop the recording because this is an economic problem. It's an economic the maximizer of profits. Okay. I was expecting someone to raise this question, but yeah, many people left. They got tired. So I have to. Chris, how can we stop recording?
Okay, have it here.
I'm still recording. Please stop recording.